Ladies, there's a truth about men that most women learn too late. A man doesn't lose interest because you're not enough. He loses interest because you give him everything too easily. Your thoughts, your emotions, your insecurities, your entire world, handed to him without resistance. And at first it feels right. It feels like love. It feels like connection, but slowly something changes. He becomes less curious, less invested, less present. Not because he stopped caring, but because there is nothing left to discover. And that's where most women unknowingly lose their power. So today, we're diving into something deeper than just relationship advice. We're talking about emotional strategy, the kind that creates respect, desire, and a connection that doesn't fade with time. Let's begin. Secret one. Never share your deepest appearance insecurities. Let me ask you something honestly. How many times have you looked in the mirror and felt like you're not enough? Too fat, too skinny, skin not clear enough, nose not perfect, hair not like those girls online. Now here's the truth. Every woman feels this way at some point. Even the women you think are perfect, even the ones men admire, they all have insecurities. But the difference is, some women feel insecure and still carry themselves with confidence, while others make their insecurity their identity. And this is where everything changes in a relationship, because when you constantly go to a man and say, "Do I look okay? I feel so ugly today. I hate my body. I wish I looked like her." You think you're being open. You think you're being real. But what you're actually doing is slowly draining the emotional energy of the relationship. Not because he doesn't care, but because you are asking him to do something he is not designed to do. A man cannot fix the way you see yourself. He can compliment you. He can reassure you. He can tell you that you're beautiful, but if deep inside you don't believe it, no amount of validation will ever be enough. And over time, this creates pressure. Pressure on him to constantly prove something, to constantly reassure you, to constantly fill a gap that keeps getting bigger. And eventually, even the most loving man starts to feel tired, not of you, but of the responsibility. Because instead of being your partner, he becomes your emotional mirror, your therapist, your 24/7 validator. And that is not attractive. That is exhausting. Now listen carefully. Men are naturally drawn to women who own their presence. Not because they are perfect, but because they are comfortable in their own skin. A woman who walks into a room and doesn't need approval. A woman who doesn't apologize for how she looks. A woman who doesn't constantly compare herself. That woman creates a different kind of energy. An energy that says, "I know who I am, and I don't need permission to feel worthy." And that energy is magnetic. But when you constantly highlight your flaws, you are teaching him where to look. You are literally guiding his attention toward the very things you hate about yourself, even if he never noticed them before. Let me say that again. You are teaching him how to see you. Now let's go even deeper. Why do these insecurities even exist? Social media. Comparison, unrealistic beauty standards, filters, editing, perfect angles. You are comparing your real life to someone else's highlight reel, and then punishing yourself for not matching it. But think about this. If you lived in a world where there were no other women to compare yourself to, would you still feel ugly? Would you still hate your body? Would you still question your worth? Because insecurity is not natural, it is learned through comparison. And here's the most important part. A man can love you deeply. He can admire you. He can choose you every single day, but he cannot heal what the world broke inside you. That journey is yours. And when you start owning that journey, when you stop seeking validation, when you start seeing yourself differently, everything changes. Your energy changes, your confidence changes, the way he looks at you changes, because now you're not asking to be chosen, you are the choice. So remember this. Your insecurities are real, but they are not something you need to constantly hand over to a man. Work on them, heal them, grow through them, but don't make them the center of your relationship, because the moment you stop apologizing for who you are is the moment you become unforgettable. Secret 2. Never share graphic details of your past relationships. Listen carefully. Being honest about your past is not the same as revealing everything about it. And this is where many women unknowingly make a mistake. that slowly damages their relationship from the inside. Let me explain. When you start telling a man about your past, at first it feels right, it feels like trust, it feels like honesty, it feels like emotional connection. You think, if I tell him everything, he'll feel closer to me, he'll trust me more. He'll see I have nothing to hide. But here's the truth that no one tells you. Men don't process your past the way you think they do. They don't just listen, they visualize, and the moment too many details, emotional or intimate ones, his mind starts creating pictures, scenes, comparisons, questions that he never needed to have. Now suddenly it's not just your past anymore, it becomes something that lives in his mind, and that changes everything. Let's go deeper into the psychology of your past because it happened. They are jealous of the experience someone else had with you, the version of you that laughed with someone else, loved someone else, shared moments with someone else. And when you describe those moments in detail, you bring that version of yourself back into the present, right in front of him. Now he starts thinking, was he better than me? Did she love him more? Am I just a replacement? Is she truly over him? Even if he never says it, it's there, quietly building. And the more details you share, the stronger those thoughts become. Now here's where it gets dangerous. 3 things start happening. 1. Comparison begins. He starts comparing himself to your ex, even in ways you never intended. Your words become a measuring scale. And now he's not just being himself. He's trying to match someone from your past. 2. Unnecessary imagination. You give him details and his mind fills in the rest. And trust me, the imagination is always worse than reality. You may forget what you said, but he won't forget what he imagined. 3. Emotional distance. Slowly, without even realizing it, he starts pulling back. Not because he doesn't care, but because something inside him feels unsettled. And when a man feels like he's competing with a ghost, he either becomes insecure or he becomes distant. Now let's address something important. A lot of women say, but I just want to be honest, and that's valid. Honesty is important, but understand this. Honesty does not mean full exposure. There's a difference between being truthful and being unfiltered. A healthy relationship needs clarity, not unnecessary details. So what should you share? Share what matters. If something from your past affects your present, yes, communicate it. If there are lessons you've learned, yes, express them. If there are boundaries that came from past experiences, yes, be clear. But you don't need to tell him every memory, every moment, every emotional or physical detail, because not everything needs to be spoken. Some things need to be respected and kept sacred. Let me give you a powerful perspective. Your past is not your identity. It's your growth, it's your evolution. It's the version of you that led you to who you are today. And the man in your present does not need to live inside your past to love you in the present. There is a certain elegance, a certain power in knowing what to say and what to protect. Who understands this creates mystery, creates depth, creates emotional stability, and that is something men deeply respect. Now listen to this carefully. When you protect your past, you are not hiding. You are honoring your journey. You are saying, that chapter made me who I am, but it does not define what I am now. And that energy is incredibly attractive. Because at the end of the day, a man doesn't need your entire history. He needs your presence. He needs your energy. He needs the version of you that stands in front of him, not the one that existed years ago. So remember this, your past is yours. Your experiences are yours. Your memories are yours. And not everything that is yours needs to be shared. Secret 3. Never share every family conflict or drama. Let me tell you something. Loving a man does not mean inviting him into every storm of your life. And one of the biggest mistakes women make is turning their partner into a listener of every family problem. At first, it feels normal. You're upset. You're emotional. Something happened with your mother, your sister, your relatives, and you think, I'll tell him. He'll understand me. He'll support me. He'll make me feel better. And yes, in that moment, he does. He listens. He comforts you. He stands by your side. But what you don't realize is, while you are releasing emotion, he is recording information. Let that sink in. Women express, and then they move on. Men listen, and they remember. So when you tell him, "My sister said this, my mother hurt me like that, my family always does this," you are showing him a version of your family at their worst moment. And in that emotional state, your words are not neutral. They are filled with pain, frustration, anger, which means he is not getting the full picture. He is getting a distorted version shaped by your emotions. Now here's where the problem begins. Time passes, you calm down, you forgive your family, you laugh with them again, everything feels normal to you. But for him, nothing is normal, because he didn't go through the healing process you went through. He didn't feel the love that came after the fight. He only remembers the pain, the disrespect, the chaos you described. So now, without you realizing it, you've created a silent tension between your partner and your family. He might not say it directly, but it shows in small ways. His attitude changes, his respect shifts, his comfort around them decreases, and you start wondering, why doesn't he like my family? Why is he acting distant around them? Without realizing, you planted that seed. Now let's go deeper into the psychology. Men are naturally protectors. When they hear that someone hurt you, their mind doesn't process it casually. It takes it seriously. It becomes something they feel responsible about. So when you repeatedly tell him that your family hurts you, disrespects you, he starts seeing them as a threat to your peace, even if that's not the full reality. And here's the dangerous part. Once a man loses respect for your family, to rebuild it. Because respect for men is not based on emotions, it's based on perception. And perception, once formed, is very difficult to change. Now let's be clear. This doesn't mean you should never share anything. You're human. You need support. You need someone to talk to. But there is a difference between sharing for clarity and venting without boundaries. Not every argument needs to be discussed. Not every conflict needs to be explained. Not every emotional moment needs to be shared, because not everything is meant to be carried into your relationship. Let me give you a powerful truth. Your family and your relationship are two separate worlds, and your job is not to mix them emotionally. Your job is to protect both. A wise woman knows when to speak, what to share, and what to handle internally. She doesn't run to her man with every problem, because she understands something powerful. Peace is more valuable than temporary emotional relief, and when you protect that peace, you create stability, you create emotional safety, you create a relationship that feels calm, not chaotic. Because imagine this, a man comes into your life, and instead of peace, he constantly hears problems, conflicts, negativity. Slowly, he starts associating you with stress, and no man wants to stay where he feels mentally exhausted. But when he experiences you as calm, grounded, emotionally balanced, he feels safe, he feels relaxed, he feels like being with you is an escape from the world, not another problem to deal with, and that is powerful. So remember this, not every emotion needs expression, not every problem needs exposure, not every conflict needs an audience. Some things are better handled with maturity, with silence, with inner strength, because the woman who protects her peace also protects her relationship. Secret 4. Never criticize him constantly over small things. Let me ask you something honestly. Have you ever pointed out something small and thought it's no big deal? Maybe the way he eats, the way he dresses, the way he talks, the way he does certain things, and you say it casually. You always do this. Why are you like this? Can't you just change this one thing? To you, it feels normal. It feels like feedback. It feels like communication. It feels like you're just helping him improve. But to him, it feels very different, because men don't hear your words the way you intend them. They don't hear, "She's helping me. She wants the best for me." What they hear is, "I'm not good enough. I can't satisfy her. No matter what I do, it's never right." And this is where something dangerous begins. Not on the surface, but deep inside him. Let's understand the psychology. A man's core emotional need is respect. Just like a woman desires love, a man desires to feel valued, capable, and enough. So when he is constantly corrected, constantly pointed out, constantly made aware of his flaws, even if they are small, it slowly chips away at his confidence. At first, he might laugh it off. He might ignore it. He might even try to change. But over time, it builds. Every small comment becomes a reminder that he is being judged, that he is being measured, that he is somehow failing. And here's the truth most women don't realize. A man doesn't leave because of one big problem. He leaves because of many small cuts over time. Now imagine this. He comes to you relaxed, being himself, and instead of acceptance, he receives correction, again and again and again. Slowly, he stops being himself around you. He becomes careful. He becomes quiet. He becomes distant, not because he doesn't love you, but because he no longer feels safe being who he is. And when a man feels like he has to change everything about himself to be accepted by you, he doesn't feel inspired. He feels rejected. Now let's be clear. This doesn't mean you should accept everything. This doesn't mean you should stay silent about serious issues. If something truly matters, if it affects your values, your peace, your future, yes, communicate it. But there is a difference between addressing what matters and attacking what doesn't. Not every habit needs correction. Not every flaw needs attention. Not every difference needs to be fixed. Because love is not about redesigning someone. Love is about understanding what truly matters and letting go of what doesn't. Now here's something powerful. When a man feels respected, he naturally wants to improve. When he feels appreciated, he naturally wants to do better. When he feels accepted, he becomes his best version without force. But when he feels criticized, he shuts down, or he pulls away. And this is where many relationships slowly die, not because of lack of love, but because of lack of emotional safety. Let me give you a deeper truth. The way you speak to a man becomes the way he sees himself. If your words constantly point out flaws, he starts believing he is flawed. If your tone carries disappointment, he starts feeling like a disappointment. And once that feeling settles in, it's very hard to reverse. So what should you do instead? Choose your battles. Ask yourself, is this worth damaging the connection? Is this habit really important? Or just my preference? Because sometimes it's not about right or wrong. It's about peace or ego. A wise woman understands that silence in small matters can protect something much bigger. And when she does speak, she speaks with respect, with softness, with intention. Not to break him, but to build understanding. Because at the end of the day, a man will stay where he feels respected, accepted, valued, and he will slowly walk away from a place where he feels judged, corrected, never enough. So remember this, don't turn love into a constant evaluation. Let him breathe, let him be, let him feel like he's enough. Because the man who feels accepted by you will never want to lose you. Secret 5. Never tell him what your friends think about him. Listen carefully. This is one of the fastest ways to damage a relationship. And most women don't even realize they're doing it. You're sitting with your friends, talking casually, and someone says something about him, maybe small, maybe careless, maybe even as a joke. I don't know about him, you can do better. He doesn't seem good enough, something feels off about him. In that moment, you might ignore it, you might defend him, or maybe you just stay quiet. But later, without thinking much, you tell him. And that's where everything changes, because for you, it was just a comment, but for him, it becomes a permanent thought. Let me explain why. Men take respect and perception very seriously, especially when it comes from the people closest to you. Your friends are not just people to him, they are your inner circle, which means their opinion feels like a reflection of your hidden thoughts. So when you say, "My friend said this about you," he doesn't hear, "Oh, that's just her opinion." He hears, "Maybe she thinks this too. Maybe she agrees with them. Maybe I'm not good enough for her." And just like that, a seed of doubt is planted. Now suddenly he's not just in a relationship with you, he feels like he's being judged by a group, watched, evaluated, compared. And that pressure destroys comfort, because love grows in safety but dies in constant judgment. Now here's what happens next. He becomes more aware, more careful, more guarded. He starts thinking before every action. How will they see me? What will they say about me? Am I being enough? And slowly, he stops being himself, or worse, he starts pulling away. Not because of you, but because of the invisible pressure around you. Now let's go deeper. Your friends see moments, Your partner lives the journey. Your friends judge based on short interactions, limited conversations, surface-level observations, but your relationship is built on time, connection, emotional depth. So when you bring their opinions into your relationship, you are allowing outsiders to influence something sacred. And here's the truth. Not every opinion deserves a place in your relationship. A strong woman knows this. She listens, but she filters. She understands that not everything heard needs to be shared, because once you say it, you cannot take it back. Even if you say, "I don't agree with them," it doesn't matter. They were just joking. It doesn't erase the impact, because a man might forgive, but he doesn't forget how he was made to feel. Now let me give you a powerful perspective. When you protect your man from unnecessary criticism, you're not hiding things. You're protecting the foundation of your relationship. And when a man feels protected by you, respected by you, chosen by you, he becomes more loyal, more open, more emotionally invested, because now he feels like it's you and him against the world. And that is where real connection begins. Now listen closely. Your power as a woman is not in how much you reveal. It's in what you choose to protect. You don't need to share everything to be loved. You don't need to expose every wound to be understood. You don't need to open every door to build a deep connection, because mystery is not distance. Mystery is depth. A woman who protects her peace gets respect. A woman who sets boundaries becomes unforgettable. A woman who values herself never has to chase love, because love naturally moves towards her. So from today, be selective, be intentional, be aware of what you give and what you keep, because the right man will not be scared of your boundaries. He will be attracted to them. If this message opened your eyes, don't scroll past it. Save this video and send it to a woman who needs to hear this truth.